5, 4,
3, 2, 1. I was off on that one, but it's okay.
It's all right. Yeah, I also heard myself counting differently on it too, so I basically have to just ignore you.
Yeah, you do.
And do it.
But you do that anyway, so what's the difference?
Actually, sometimes it's hard to ignore you. Jeez, come on.
That's because I'm so obnoxious.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah, no, it's totally true. 100%. Why do you see nothing? Because
the goggles, they do nothing.
There you
go.
How about that? How about that?
Yeah, that's... Oh, boy.
Yeah, I sent you that, and you're just like, yeah, no.
Yeah, I did get a chance to look at it a little closer. It looks like every one of those, I guess, mini plugs goes to breaks out to the board and then does a thing to maybe a switch.
Kind of, but no. Because only 4 of them are actually on switches.
4 of those cables, wires.
Yes. Well, yes. 3 of them technically, but 4 optionally. Because I have a 4-port mixer.
All right, I'm bringing you back over here. I gotta see this. All right, here we go.
Oh
God, now I've done it.
No, I did it. You stay.
So every one of those cables is going to a switch?
No.
Or a dot?
There's only 2 switches there.
Oh, then what are these guys then?
I don't know what you're pointing at.
Sorry, so on the right-hand side, there's 3 silvery guys.
Yeah.
They look like they're knobs of some kind?
Yes, they are. In fact, they're stereo potentiometers. And there's 3 more on that other board too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you've got a 4-channel mixer.
Yes.
So you've got 4 sources.
No.
You've got 2 sources.
No.
How many sources do you have?
Well, right now I have 5.
Oh my God.
With an option for 6.
Oh my God. All right, walk me through this because I can't figure this out apparently.
Okay, so here's the second teaser picture. Blah blah.
Oh my God.
Whoops.
Yeah, and obviously in post I'm going to cut these in properly. I think.
Yeah, because I'm just going to drop the whole folder over for you.
Yeah.
So you can do what you need to do.
That looks a little neater, if I'm honest.
It
it's a little more precarious, but
yeah, I kind of angled it. You can start to see the 3D printed stuff there.
Yeah, it looks like the housing or shelf for the mixer, I guess.
Yes, and you'll notice that if you look at this back part up here, that was dremeled, a little
cracky. Oh,
so I melted it a little bit to get it out of the way to make it fit. Same with these screw spots, like here, and then 2 more over here.
Okay.
Yeah, let me go to my notes. There we go. Okay, so next thing is the prepping. So we have wrapping. So if I go like this, and I go like that. So now is it starting to make a little bit more sense, less sense? So that's a triple pole double throw, whereas for my other switches, they're double pole double throw. Stereo, I needed that 3rd pole, so I had to go and buy those.
Okay. So it's a triple.
So there's 3 lines.
You just said it.
Yeah, triple pole double throw. 3 lines output, 3 lines on 2 inputs. So I can.
So a 3-wire cable can come in and go to 1 spot or a 2nd spot.
The exact opposite. There's 2 3-wire inputs and 1 3-wire output. So you're either picking left or right, or A or B, rather, I guess.
Okay.
So there's 2 inputs and 1 output in the center.
Okay. I for some reason, I think we're approaching what you're trying to do from opposite sides. But yes, I'm
explaining what the switch does.
Yeah. I mean, you could reverse it, of course.
Yes.
and send one signal to either location.
Yes, you could. You could do that.
I mean, it's just a gate, basically.
Yeah, because it's just making connections.
Right. Okay.
But in
you're
the way
using
that
it
I'm
for-
using it, yeah.
Right. The way you're using it is one input to either location.
No, I'm
Either
using it
output.
I'm using it the other way around. I'm doing
Choosing
two,
between two inputs.
Yes.
For one location.
Yes.
For one output. Okay.
Now, whereas my mic switch thing, I'm taking that one input and switching between two outputs. So you can do the same idea with a double throw.
Right.
So yeah, soldering, bad solders, whoop-de-doo. Actually, that isn't even soldered yet. Just trying to prep all of these wires and everything. Because, well, let's see, there's 9 wires on a switch, there's 2 switches, and then there's 6 jacks, and they each have 3, and by the way...
So yeah, get everything prepped so that you can just solder it all in one go.
Yeah, pretty much. And by the way, I tried to set up the colors correctly-ish on the jacks, so I could do yellow as left, right was red, and black was ground. Well, it turns out the pinout that I read on the Amazon page was wrong. So yellow was ground, red was left, and black was right. So it was just like, whatever, fine.
Yep.
Here I have it all on my nice neat table. Yay, table. I may or may not have showed that already. This was me testing out the spacing on these because you're looking at it and you're saying, why is there a gap there? Well, that's where the switch goes there, and the switch goes there. And you're like, this doesn't make sense. This is weird. Why is he doing it this way?
Starting to come together.
Is it?
I think. So the idea being that one of those boards is... No, it doesn't make... No, because what I would do... No. No, because you'd have the left and the right, but you've got a triple...
Each one of these potentiometers does left and right. They're ganged together, so you can adjust the volume. It's actually really handy.
So each of those is a 1 to 2 mixer.
No.
Or 2 to 1 mixer.
No, they're not mixers at all. So
okay.
Let me... I'm looking... this was my test. Maybe this will help make more sense.
Okay.
1 potentiometer.
Yep.
Well, it's actually 2 potentiometers in there. So I can have one for the left and one for the right. And then you have the input and the output, and then you ground it.
Yes.
Which is weird because normally a resistor doesn't need ground, but in audio nonsense it does.
Yeah.
And if you put it backwards, it doesn't work right. And you have to rewire all 6.
Noise?
No, the volume just doesn't adjust right. And then sometimes when you turn it all the way down, you're still getting volume because, it's backwards. So you have to rewire all 6 of them.
God.
Pain in the ass. Trying to figure all that out. So, let's see. What looks cool? We could do that. That's me soldering. I like the focus effect.
Yeah. That's good. What camera did you use that with?
That's actually my Pixel 4a, the phone.
Okay.
I could have reached up and grabbed the power shot, and I was just like...
Oh, that's a good shot, man.
I was like, you know what? It's good enough. You can see how my terrible solder looks like garbage, but as long as it works, I don't have to care.
It's far more precise than I would have been.
This one I took because I liked the contrast of the focus. I thought it was cool. And here's setting up wires before I actually did the stuff. Just trying to get everything wired up, and then you end up with...
Once those are on there, you can't get at it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can, but you can't. And then I was using the quad hands to do my soldering. And, because this is perf board, I, made my connections by just bridging solders across holes to make my connections, because I didn't want to... I'm not good at it. I probably should take a class or something on actually PCB design. But, It's on the list, just not very high on the list. And then that thing in the background, that's the PCB holder, which
Okay.
turns out makes it a lot easier. That's what it's for.
Almost like they designed it for such a way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just
Oh
fixing.
wow, you can rotate it.
Oh yeah, it rotates,
Oh, wow.
it adjusts size, and then like here's me using both together because
Mm-hmm.
turns out that's helpful. And then this is a good one because I 3D printed stuff. Now I went through a few iterations on this part because I needed to know where the holes were going to be. So you marker it and then you drill a bunch of holes and shove it through and make it kind of fit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can kind of end up with, like that. So you can see like marker and then printing it. Here's the final one. Here's a note when you're doing 3D modeling. Know which way it's oriented.
Oriented when you're printing it? Or?
No, when you're designing it. Because sometimes it'll rotate when you're putting a new sketch on.
Oh.
And then now the whole thing is suddenly upside down for how you wanted it to be. Which means that when you do that, now your PCB has to be on the top instead of the bottom. But you got the holes for the, the stuff, so it's nice and neat. And it can actually, well, here's a test, but you get that.
Okay.
The whole, it actually, looks pretty decent now, right? Yeah, it's looking like a thing. It's looking like a thing.
Yeah, it's coming
It's
together.
looking like a thing.
Dang.
It's
Look at that
looking like a thing.
Whoa. Dang. That is really, really neat. That is good.
It's not perfect.
Dang.
It's not perfect.
Okay.
I still need to put a guard around the XLR cable
Okay.
because, fun fact, remember how I thought I broke the XLR cable?
Yes. You were very mad about it.
Yeah, I'm still mad about it. But I didn't break the XLR cable. I broke the adapter.
Okay, I feel a little less bad about that.
Like the female connection broke. Those are
Oh,
the
you
pins.
pulled it out.
Those are the pins from the female connector. There's still
Oh
more
my
of the plastic in there. And what I think happened was it's from the floor not being level, so the chair rolls, and the arm is at just the perfect height to smack into the XLR cable. So so I need to put a guard around that part, and then solid up the stuff because like the mixer kind of still moves a little bit. The Scarlet has a little bit of space, so it moves a little bit. The reason there's a cutout here is because I cut off the other foot part off of the case for the speaker amplifier, and it was such a pain in the butt using the hacksaw to do that I said I'm only doing the one side, and the hell with it.
All right.
And then there's the headphone amplifier, and yeah. So what I have down here, this is my pre-attenuation.
Yeah.
This is channel
Okay.
1. This is the main laptop. This is channel 2A, I guess. This is the game laptop for, what I'm talking to you on and playing the games on. This is channel 2B, which is the work computer, which happens to be on the port 2 of KVM. Also lines up with the other stuff. So this switch will toggle between those two. That's over here for 2. Same deal with the 3 and these 3A and 3B, except I don't have anything connected to 3A yet. So that's the empty one. But I figured I'd make B's for work, so boom boom. And then this is Nuckfuts. So that's 4, which goes to there. Boop 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 boop. Does it make sense now? 1, 2, 3.
Whoa. Slow down. 1.
1. Boop, 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 boop. 2.
Okay, so these. Oh, so this
3.
slider.
This toggle, yeah.
Okay.
4. So 1 and 4 are still dedicated singles. But because 2 and 3
Gotcha.
have work computers, and I'm not always working, boop, take those right off, and boom, I got my spots back.
Gotcha. And then the mixer goes to your
Mixer
speakers slash headphones?
Mixer has two outputs, so it goes to speakers, speaker amplifier, and headphone amplifier.
Okay.
And then this little plug right here, there's a quarter inch XLR. Yeah, that's not a thing. Quarter inch plug there, jack. So I can unplug the headphones here and plug them into the Scarlett, or
Okay.
either or. So it stays nice and neat.
And the only thing going into the Scarlett is the microphone for. I don't like that face.
Well, on the back there's the USB cable, USB Type C.
Right.
And
But that's coming out of the mixer.
And then
the
direct
Scarlett,
monitor for line output to go into the microphone stuff for work. But yes, there's only one thing going into the Scarlett, input wise.
Gotcha. Then the Scarlett gets routed. I gotcha. Oh man. Wow.
Not recommended.
Rather than deal with a 6-channel mixer,
they don't make those. They do not make a 6-channel stereo 3.5mm mixer.
Oh, 3.5.
They don't even make them with tip ring sleeve. They make them as
hiccup.
mono.
It would have to be XLR. You'd have to adapt everything to XLR.
Yeah, and how the hell am I going to adapt 5 computer things to XLR?
I mean,
and have it be small enough that it's not obnoxious.
Oh, yeah, you'd wind up with a bundle of 1/8-inch to XLR adapters back there.
Yeah, and I'd have
which would take up
box.
more volume.
And the giant box would take up more volume. So it's and I'd have to go and buy more stuff. So no, I did it this way.
And that does look very slick. Very, very slick.
I was debating using the plastic because I wanted to make it out of wood for the faces. And then I was just like, you know what? It's getting done. I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like cutting it. I barely feel like designing it. So we're going to just draw it up and print it. And that color wasn't bad, which is good because that's about the only plastic I have left after the bins in any significant amount. Because I'm down to that one spool.
And you'd have to design it no matter what.
Yep.
So whether you just click print, I know it's not just that simple, but whether you click print or have to get out the lumber, have to get out the saw, have to get out and do all of that, just, at that point, printing's easier. With all the pieces and interconnects, it'll just be built.
Yeah, and like you modify the piece of plastic, like, to make the spaces for the screws. It's still okay. Like you don't have to print it again. I didn't. But
yeah, you apply subtractive manufacturing onto your additive manufacturing.
Yeah. And then you glue it together if it doesn't stay.
More additive manufacturing.
Like this is such a pressure fit right here with the headphone amplifier in that spot. Actually bows the plastic a little bit to help give it a little more friction to hold it in place. Next to that, like it doesn't really move very much. Contrast with this is just janky and it'll move if you fart at it wrong.
Oh boy! So basically, if you were to push on that instead of just go up and down with the sliders, it's gonna fall in.
I mean, it wouldn't fall in, but it'll definitely move.
Gotcha. It'll shift.
And it'll shift like this.
Oh yeah.
More like a Pringles chip corner rather than just straight in and out. And I'll probably just throw some like cheap Elmer's glue, like craft glue, so I can still take it out. But I could print it, like 0.5 millimeter thicker or bigger. I'm not doing that.
It's already in there. It's done. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's
Good
great.
enough.
Yeah, I now that I see what you were trying to do, yeah, I gotcha.
It's totally stupid. Totally stupid.
How long did that take you?
What? Doing what?
So the whole project. How long did the whole project take you to do?
Well, do you count like the month and a half of procrastinating?
No.
Well, in that case, printing all of these faces and doing this pre-attenuation thing was the past couple days.
Okay.
I had a plan to use not optical, isolation transformers because I thought that, my sound was getting weird. Turns out I don't need them, so now I have 20 of them that I'm not going to return. I only opened one pack, but doesn't make sense at this point.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, I mean, probably about 2 days to do most of that. The wood part was another couple hours, a while back.
Yeah, because I love the way you've got basically the shelves in there, because they're the notches and slides right in.
Dados are the best.
So there's no nails in that, it looks like. I mean, or
there's 2, 4, 8 screws. 2 screws on this side, 2 screws going this way through this piece of plastic.
Desk, right?
And then
that's a different.
This is a piece of plastic. This is what holds my microphone.
Right, but what I'm looking at is the shape of the box. This is not a square box.
Oh no,
the piece on the right is longer to go on the outside of the desk.
Yep, it goes to the edge, to the top edge.
Oh, man.
Ish.
So you get an extra 3/4 of an inch of desk space, basically.
Well, except I lose it then because that's where the microphone is attached. So the arm covers that up.
Okay.
And then there's 4 more screws on this bottom piece, but
right,
just because it was easier. But yeah, dados are great because it doesn't take that much longer to make them, but now you have a place where the wood goes to help with assembly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot easier.
If you have the table saw. I mean, with
you can do it with a router. You could. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. No. Because you have to mark the lines either way, like where the stuff needs to go. So at least if I do it this way, I don't necessarily have to spend as much time trying to line everything up and make sure it's, at the correct angle. Yeah, it's already there. It's lined up. And, for 90% rule, it works fine. Perfectly fine. More than good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it got a little out of hand.